Ever wonder what it takes to live a life creatively? So do we. That's why we're here, to find out what clever people do to succeed in the arts, business, and education. I'm Cecily Korst, and this is the Trailer Talks. We're interviewing artists and educators, musicians, and thought leaders, at home and on the road. So come on, it's going to be a good trip. Hey, welcome to the trailer. Come on in. Today, we're talking with Adam Shepard, author of Scratch Beginnings and 1 Year Lived, and we're talking about his creative life.
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
Can you hear me pretty well?
Yeah, absolutely. So tell us about your journey thus far.
Oh, wow. Good Lord. How much time do we have? Days here? It's been a very interesting journey for me because I wanted to play professional basketball in Europe. I played college basketball. I wanted to play professional basketball in Europe. So I went to, and I did that in Germany for about 36 hours. And then after I came home from this devastating, career, like I wanted to play for a couple of years, 3 years. And after a weekend, they said, no, have a safe flight home. And so I came home and it was kind of, all right, well, what are you going to do next? And I had the idea for Scratch Beginnings, for this first book that I've written. But it wasn't so much about the book. I wanted to just go out. I wanted to live in a homeless shelter. I wanted to live the American dream and see what I was able to accomplish. The premise for the experience was that I would start with $25 and it closed on my back in a random city to see if in 1 year I could have $2,500, a car, and a furnished apartment. So I wanted to kind of just go out there and see what the American dream was all about. I lived in a homeless shelter for 70 days, kind of as I worked my way up. So it wasn't my original intent to have that experience, but my gosh, what a wonderful, wonderful experience it ended up being.
Yeah, I think you really proved a point with that book. It was really was insightful, and I think you became a really great role model. And I've seen your speaking engagements on it, and it's really great for kids. What's it like talking with high schoolers?
Oh my gosh, you talk about an ideal audience for me. High school students are my ideal audience because they don't have everything all figured out. Like now I'm 30, I think I have it all figured out, right? I mean, high school students, they are really open to different kind of possibilities, and they're open to being inspired by new, different things. And so I love the energy with high school students. Because I'm out here, I'm just sharing a story, and they think it's so cool that I stepped out of my comfort zone. And so it's great for me to be able to share my story of Scratch Beginnings, my story now of going around the world and doing these cool things. But high school students and college students as well, they see themselves in me. And so they think, well, if this kid who's just a regular guy can do it, well, I can do it as well. And so then it challenges them to think, how can I get outside of my own comfort zone?
What resonates most with your audience?
I think what resonates most with my audience, number one, is that I'm relatable, and number two, how they can apply what I've written to their own lives, the practicality of it. I traveled around the world for $19,420.68. 1 year I spent 17 countries, 4 continents. I mean, I did some really remarkable things, right? I mean, I fought bulls, I volunteered with children, I met all of these wonderful, wonderful people. And when my audience reads my book, the feedback I'm getting is, hey, this is really a great story, and I can go out and live my own great story.
Well, your first book probably has a huge following with the high schoolers. I think the second one is probably more like college-age folks.
Yeah, I think so, because you as you emerge from college, you have this idea on what you're going to do next. What is the next opportunity for me? And I think some will go directly into grad school, some will go directly into work, and I think some want to have this year to get out and explore the world a little bit. And so that's definitely who I'm going to be targeting with this book moving forward. Absolutely.
It seems like it could be really great required reading for parents too.
Oh my God, send it to all the parents you know, please.
What is success for you?
I think success for me is the freedom to make my own decisions on what I want to do creatively. Uh, do I want the financial success? Do I want people emailing me and saying, "Oh my gosh, this is how your work touched me"? Absolutely, those things are important to my life moving forward. But I think if I have the freedom to kind of do what I want to do and work on a project the way I want to work on it, I think that's very important to me. It's not a selfish thing, I don't think, but it is an opportunity for me to have a complete creative control, or give it up completely. There are projects that I've worked on and I've said, hey, listen, just so we can define where we are here, you are in charge. We're working on this together, but you are in charge.
So, in Scratch Beginnings or 1 Year Lived, do you have favorite parts of each of those books?
Oh my gosh, I definitely have favorite parts. I have favorite parts of those books, and I have favorite parts of those experiences. I think both of those years were the greatest years of my life. And maybe the next year moving forward will be an even better year. I mean, we will see. But they were the greatest years of my life. And so you say, what was your favorite part about Scratch Beginnings? And I immediately put my mind to that moving truck. I'm driving down the highway. Derek is in the passenger seat. We just loaded up 4 hours, furniture, boxes, washing machines, all of this stuff. It's just so satisfying to have the wind blowing in your hair. I can't do it now because my hair is gelled very stiff. But when I had longer hair, the wind is blowing in your hair, and you just feel so satisfied with the work that you've put in, and the work that you're going to continue putting in. That's the number one experience that I had in Scratch Beginnings. In 1 Year Lived, there are so many. Each essay seems to be its own unique experience. I think, obviously, number one on the list, meeting my wife, period, done, end of story. And just the entire process of courtship there, because when I first met her, I was so interested in her. I was so engaged, and I thought she was so fantastic. We spent probably 15 minutes together at first, and she did not think that I was so fantastic, and so I had to spend the coming months trying to convince her that I was a good guy. So that's number one. But also just being in Honduras, volunteering with those children, and you've got these kids who are just living relatively destitute lives, but yet they're so happy. I think there were really some special moments down there in Honduras with those children.
One other thing that I think is really amazing that you point out is 35% of Americans own passports.
And that's one thing. And so you talk about the creative process. For me, what I want to do with my life, I'm trying to use my skills as a writer and my ability to find great editors and create this book. I want to use that to inspire others to travel. 35% of Americans have passports. I mean, is that a high number or is it a low number? I mean, it depends on how you'd like to look at it. But I just know that my peers, the 18 to 35-year-old age group, the vacations that we take just are not the vacations where we can truly enrich our lives. I love Cancun, Mexico, and it's an exciting resort place to be. And you go there and you sit on the beach for a week and it's lovely. But there's also this other experience to be had when you get off the beaten path a little bit and you go to Puerto Cabezas, Nicaragua, and you see what poverty is really like. And so that's what I'm trying to do with this book. I'm trying to inspire more people to get passports and to get outside of their comfort zone a little bit and to have these experiences that will ultimately be the most memorable experiences in your life.
So what's the one thing that you think everyone should know about living a life creatively?
The number one thing along the process of creating your work, and maybe this next piece will be your life's work, or maybe it'll be the next one or the next one or the fifth one or the 10th one that you work on. But here you are working on this project that you have now. Whoever you are, whatever it is, music, radio, TV, writing, making a film, some kind of entrepreneurial side business, whatever it is, you need to step out of your comfort zone. I think that's what I've learned along the way, is to step outside of what is comfortable for you. When you challenge that, when you take a risk, when you're outside of your box, that's when you grow, that's when you become better, that's when you learn, and that's when you develop a project that transcends your potential. If we stay in our little worlds, then we only have this much capability. But when we step out, when we get out there into the world, that's when we really have the opportunity to produce something great. I think, and I really learned that along the way with this book. I had this list of all these things I wanted to do in my life. Well, when I got out there into the world, most of the stuff that I did in 1 year lived they weren't even on the list. Because my eyes were open to a brand new world of possibility. So when you get out there, when you take that risk, when you challenge your comfort zone, that's when your eyes are open to what you really had the potential to accomplish. And I think my number one piece of advice is to get outside of your comfort zone.
Yeah, I don't have anything else. Great book. I loved reading it.
Thank you.
Really enjoyed it.
Thank you very much.
And,
thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Do you have another one that you might be working on?
Oh my gosh. I have ideas, but it's so hard to be working on this and then you don't want to think about what's down the road, but you kind of are. So I mean, I've got a couple of ideas, but this has just taken so much effort for me that I want to make sure that I continue to write it out as much as possible. So there may be other ideas, but right now I am 100% invested in this, and I like where we can go with this. So we'll see.
Yeah, well, we'll be watching.
All right, cool. Great. Thank you very much. Great interview. Thank you.
Hey, thank you. If you want to know more about Adam, check him out on scratchbeginnings.com, oneyearlive.com, or on YouTube and Facebook, or at shepardspeaks.com. While you're out surfing, check us out at thetrailertalks.com. I'm Cecily Korst. Join us for the next road trip.
Bye, Kathleen.
Bye.
I'll see you later.